The- Those who know me know that I've been involved in the kind of interface between ELT and sustainability for quite a while now, probably 7, 8 years. And before that, I was sort of greenish. I had a greenish tinge, I suppose, and I'm probably still greenish rather than really green. But I've always been interested in environmental stuff and also broader sustainability. And what really kind of got me involved in this was I live most of the time in Scotland, but I've also got a flat in London where I'm sitting now, and there's a very busy road down there that way. And about 7, 8 years ago, a young girl, she was about 6, died um, of asthma, and the post-mortem and the subsequent inquiry said the asthma was caused directly by traffic pollution, and that made me very angry that a child living with her mum, coincidentally on a busy road in a wealthy, developed country, should have a shortened life expectancy, and that kind of enraged me quite a lot because it was physically very close to where I didn't know the woman, but the girl, but it's physically very close to where I lived. So that was kind of what got me really thinking because that message hit me very hard. Um, but if we look at ELT, and I'll loop back to the anger thing in a minute. If we think about ELT and sustainability, I often ask myself the question after all these years, how are we doing? And it's very hard to assess because it depends what you mean by doing. But I think we really are at a junction now. There's lots of good stuff going on. I speak to lots of teachers. Some of you know I'm VP of IATEFL. So I speak to teachers and other groups on a regular daily basis almost. They say, well, we're doing this. We're doing a growing project in our primary schools. Where we're doing beach cleans. In the school itself, we've got green energy sources, and we don't have a car park, but we have a bike sharing scheme. It's fantastic stuff. All over the place it's going on. There's massive engagement. So it would be quite easy to sit back and think, whoa, we're really doing something. We're making progress. But I don't know if we are. We might just be scratching at the surface. There's what's the expression, a sticking plaster approach because the crisis is absolutely the climate crisis particularly, and the associated sustainability issues around it are ballooning out of control. And of course it's fantastic that schools are encouraging 7-year-olds to do planting projects, or that they are getting older students to be aware of what's going on around them, but I don't think we're actually engaging with the problem. We're becoming aware of kind of sticking plaster solutions, the small things that we can do. And small things, of course, they accumulate. Like everybody else, I've got a wooden toothbrush. I recycle. Multiply me by every million, it does make some impact. But I think we need to have a grown-up conversation with ourselves and say, this is being caused by large oil and gas companies around the world, who not so much by what they do, because they've always done that, but the fact they deny us choices of greener energy. These companies are very capable of producing energy in a greener way, but they choose not to because financially, economically, it's a much less attractive prospect for them. And to what extent, and here's the question, should we get our students to engage and become climate warriors, eco warriors, protesters? Is that what we should really be doing? I don't know. That's a question. The answer to it maybe depends where you live. There are geopolitical reasons why certain places you can and can't do things. In the UK, which is supposed to be a fairly open and free country, though I increasingly have my doubts, people are increasingly being arrested for peaceful climate protests, and that's making me very unhappy. But I'm just sowing that seed that maybe at least we need to have conversations with students, not about what they can do to reduce their carbon footprint. They're great conversations, don't misunderstand me, but about getting them to understand what's causing it. Because I think, and here we are looping back, I think when people understand the causes of it, they get angry. A. B. If we also
say to students, okay, we know we talk about climate change, but what is it? What's the impact? Well, the impact is, according to UNICEF, approaching 1,000 babies a day die because of water-related issues. 1,000. That is lack of water, sanitation that goes with lack of water, or poor sanitation, excess water, floods, poor sanitation. That will make a lot of students angry as well. And I was doing a talk about 6 weeks ago, and I thought about this idea of controlled anger as a motivation. And I felt very pleased with myself. I thought I've actually thought for once of something original. So I went and powered up my laptop and typed it in, and of course it wasn't original. There's a couple of very interesting research projects in Australian academics who are investigating how powerful anger about the climate emergency is in making people engage. And I think it might be time to make our students angry. I never thought I'd find myself saying that. But I think once people are angry and they think about these 1,000 kids a day, or like me thinking about this poor young woman down the road, bless her, who was basically killed by the cars driving past unwittingly, that anger might be the thing. So as I say, we can share later on the links to this research that's been done. The research was interesting. I'm about to finish, don't worry. They surveyed 5,000 people in Australia. They were simply because they were Australian academics. Of those 5,000, they found that people, as I say, who are angry about the climate crisis are more likely to engage with it. But all of those people also reported better mental health. Isn't that interesting? That there's also a loop back to well-being. Well, in our case, presumably student well-being and possibly teacher well-being. So it's a complex old world, isn't it? But I do think getting our students angry might be a thing to do. Right, I'll shut up now. Thank you.